Good morning. Today we are going to have discussion regarding the course BEE 003. This is on management of power distribution. Today we are going to talk about the aspects of management one should be aware of and how useful it is for managing in the power distribution. We have with us Professor B.K. Dhoob, who will be dealing with this topic. The discussion will be from 9 to 9:45, that is 45 minutes presentation will be there. Then we will allow you to ask your queries from 9:45 onwards. I request that the queries should be only from 9:45 onwards, not before that. And I also request the part-time staff coordinators who are present at the other locations to please send the attendance by fax. Now, without wasting any time, I request Professor Dhoob to start the discussion.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srilata. Good morning, viewers and students present here. I have been asked to speak on various aspects of management. I would start with the organizations. We are all working in organizations. Organizations are carrying on their work and operations through managing a number of resources. The resources could be various resources like men, machine, land, then technology, then money, and all those things. I will be talking about them in detail later. Now, management is the name of the game for managing all these resources judiciously, optimally, in order to achieve the organizational objectives. If we define management, we can say this is a process designed to achieve an organization's objectives by using its resources effectively and efficiently. There is a rider in a changing environment. Why do we call changing environment? Because, as you know, that organizations are placed in a highly competitive domain where there are a number of competitors for any organization, and unless organizations do manage their resources very effectively and manage the change appropriately, they are not going to succeed. So management is the name of the game of all this, managing all these resources. In other words, we can say the art and science of coordinating the work of people, equipment, materials, the finances, and above all the time. Time is a very important resource, as you would all appreciate that unless the activities that are performed in the organizations are executed well in time, the organizations are not going to remain competitive. Now, what are the functions of management? Managers have to contend with number of functions. To start with, there is planning. Planning can be defined as managing the activities in such a way, in a planned way, to achieve the organization's objectives. Now, planning we will be discussing little in detail slightly later. The second function of a manager is organizing. The organizing is a process through which we manage all the resources and activities, again to achieve the organizational objectives. Though in many books the third aspect, that is staffing, is not given, is not mentioned generally, but staffing is always a managerial function, because unless you have the right kind of people working for the organization at the right levels and in right numbers with appropriate qualifications, and they are placed in a suitable position, the main function of managing all the resources cannot be handled smoothly. The next aspect of managing is directing. Directing is managing or giving direction to the activities of the employees towards achieving the organizational objectives. Then controlling, last and final activity or the function of a manager is controlling. Whatever resources are placed at his command, he has to control the resources and manage the resources appropriately so that the resources are optimally utilized. So these are broadly the functions. Then somebody may ask that number of other functions a manager also is required to execute is like leading and motivating and so many other things. So all those things are a part of the directing function. Now talking about planning, see, there are number of types of plans. We have strategic plans, we have tactical plans, and we have operational plans. Now strategic plans is qualifying the strategy, the organizational strategy. The plans which conform to developing or designing the organizational strategy are known as strategic plans. The duration of these plans are basically for 3 to 5 years, because these are long-term plans giving shape to the organization's overall business strategy. Then we have tactical plans. These are the duration of these plans are basically covering 1 to 2 years, and these are basically conforming to the requirement of the business unit and not the overall organization. Then we have got operational plans. The operation plan duration is mostly up to 12 months, and these are basically conforming to the requirement of the departments. Now, if we talk of steps in the planning process, how do we actually handle the planning? I would start with the strategic plan or strategic planning process. You might be aware that for developing any strategic plan, we have to first, being aware of the opportunity, or we have to be aware of opportunities, threats, and strengths and weaknesses of the organization. In other words, SWOT analysis has to be done. By SWOT analysis, what we understand is that we analyze the strengths, weaknesses of the organization, which is in other words scanning the environment, external environment as well as the internal environment. The external environment gives us opportunities and threats, and the internal environment of the organization gives us the strengths and weaknesses. When we analyze, when we do the SWOT analysis, what we are doing actually is we are looking at the opportunities and we are looking at our strengths within the organization, whether we can take the benefit of these opportunities which are being provided to the organization from the external environment. If the organization is not able to take benefit of these opportunities, that means there is some weakness there, because they are not able to take appropriate benefit of these opportunities. So these opportunities are getting converted into threats, because once the organization itself is not going to take the benefit of these opportunities, some other competitor is going to take advantage of this. So in other words, it becomes a threat. So by doing this SWOT analysis, what we are doing is we are trying to understand the gap between the strength and weaknesses. How much, where is the strength that lies in the organization, and where, in which areas the organization is weak. So what we have to do is we have to develop strategies, or we have to develop plans, strategic plans, to bridge the gap between this strength and weakness. Wherever there is a weakness, we have to convert it into strength, and wherever there is a strength, it is okay. Then we can get the benefit of the opportunity. So this doing this environmental scanning, and after that doing the SWOT analysis, we get to know about our strengths and weaknesses, and therefore we can develop the strategic plans. So this is what here we have mentioned: being aware of the opportunity, setting objectives or the goals, considering planning premises, in what way, in what manner we are going to convert these weaknesses into strength and thus get the advantage of the opportunities. Then identifying alternatives, that means how, in what way, in what manner we should design our strategies so that, or plan our strategies so that we can get the benefit. And in so many ways these alternatives can be created. Then we compare all these alternatives in the light of goals to be achieved. Then next step is choosing one of the alternative which is the most befitting one. Then we formulate the plans, and then in order to execute these plans we have budgets. Examples could be volume and price of sales, operating expenses, capital equipment expenditure, etc. So once these steps we are aware of, in other words, we can visually represent the planning process like this. See, analyzing environment, that is forecasting, benchmarking, creating benchmarks, contending with the contingencies, doing the competitor analysis, building business scenarios. After doing all these exercises, then we know where we stand and what kind of competition we have to contend with, what are our benchmarks going to be, what kind of business forecasts are there for us to contend with, what is the status and level of competition, and by developing the appropriate business scenario, we know what is the level of execution that is required, and by setting these objectives we can handle, or we can remain competitive. And this is how we plan the process, by setting the objectives. And then we assess the requirements, we assess the resources and determine the requirements, and then we implement the plans and monitor the outcomes. In brief, this is the. Now where does decision making come? Decision making is at the center of the planning process. No planning could be complete unless there is a decision making to follow. Now the decision making comprises of a number of steps. The need objectives. Unless we know our primary objectives very clearly, we will not be able to make good decisions. We should know the goals to be accomplished. We should understand the goals very clearly, and then only we can decide to we can complete the planning exercise. So for this, forecasts are very important. Once you know the forecast and you can develop the business scenario, then you can take a decision. Once the decisions are there, there wouldn't be a single decision, there would be a number of decisions. So the decisions have to be prioritized. Which decision should be taken first, which should come next, and like that. Once you have you have prepared a priority list of decisions, then you can analyze the alternatives. What kind of alternatives you have, what kind of business scenarios you have created, and what are your business alternatives. And then you can implement the decision, define who does what, when and how much, assign responsibilities, give authority to act, follow up, everything like that. If visually, in a schematic form, if we want to represent the decision making process, it would be seen like this. The first step is recognize and define the decision situation, develop solution options, analyze options, select the best option, implement the decision, monitor the consequences. This is another visual where we are showing the entire management process. On the left hand side we have got the resources. It could be human resources, it could be financial resources, it could be physical resources in terms of land, technology, equipment and all that, and informational, that is the technology. And once you have got all these resources and you carry out the managerial functions, those are planning, then organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, then you achieve the goals. Now you must have come across number of terms like functional management. Now if somebody asks a manager what are the functional domains, then the functional domains can be described like this: wherever in such domains where repeated work is carried out, those domains become functional. It could be civil, it could be electrical, mechanical, structures, environmental, surveying, purchasing, estimating. All these activities are functional activities. Whereas the project activities would be different. Let's look at what kind of project activities could be there. Project activities is not a repeated activity. It is one-time activity. Say, designing and constructing a power plant, a chemical plant. Okay, so you will design and construct. This will be a project management activity. Of course, number of other related activities will also be there, which we will be talking slightly later. If you are building a shopping center, if you are building a warehouse, if you are building a substation, if you are building a refinery, if you are cleaning up a site, any of these activities could be a project activity. So it is very important for a manager to know whether the job that is handling is a part of a functional activity or a project activity. Now, what is a planning process? What are the steps involved? Formulating a course of action is the first one. Then second is establishing major milestones. Third is start with the statement of work. What is the objective? Then continuous throughout a project. The planning is to be carried out continuously in a project. Integrates with all parties involved. Planning has to integrate with all the persons, the client, the procurement agencies. In this context, we will be talking about other things like that how do we integrate with each other, means that the information has to be there with everybody. In a project situation, the person who is handling the project has to interact with the procurement agencies. He has to, in fact, all the agencies involved in a supply chain, he has to be interacting with that. So continuous throughout the project, integrate, and it has to integrate with all parties involved. And while planning, the person who is planning must consider constraints. What are the shortfalls that are expected? Then planning is also a prerequisite to scheduling. I will just show you what we mean by this. You see, if we look at project management, then the four cornerstones, four important things are, aspects are scope, scoping the project, then looking at the cost aspect, looking at the schedule, and looking at the quality. So we'll go back to that. having spoken, having touched the planning process, now we'll go to organizing. The next managerial function is organizing. Organizing is with reference to any organizational setup like this. You see, this is the organization chart of a manufacturing company. You are all aware what is this organization? This is a functional organization. This is the schematic diagram or a organogram of a functional organization. We have got board, we have got CEO, we have got president, vice presidents of different functions, and people reporting to down below, GM, AGM, and all kinds of people. Okay. So when we are talking of any organization like this, what actually it means is, what the total work of a organization is being broken down into definable, measurable parts. You see, we have got departments. Each department has a separate function. So what we are doing? We are dividing these functions, the overall function of the organization, into different parts, into different segments, and each department, each unit would be handling these parts. So one is, we are organizing the overall work by dividing it into smaller parts and assigning these smaller jobs or assignments to people placed at different levels in the organization. Then we systematically arrange resources to fit the plan. Whatever plan of action we have got, whatever is the organizational objective, and we have already planned how we are going to meet these objectives. So we plan the resources or organize these resources or allocate these resources in such a way that these resources are available to each person at manning each position in the organization, and these things should fit very systematically to the overall plan, strategic or otherwise, prepared for the organization. Then the manager has to organize and focus in such a way that he can utilize these resources appropriately to achieve the organizational objectives. Need to develop a work breakdown structure, which is in short called WBS, where we break down each and every component of the job to the smallest, and we have a structure ready, and then according to this structure we allocate the responsibilities, we assign the works to each and every manager and other people down below, and accordingly allocate the resources also. We also have a parallel need organization breakdown structure, OBS in short, and these two, WBS and OBS, should be matching each other. Then need an organizational chart that shows responsibility and authority. When we do all these things, this completes the organization process, the function of organizing. Next important function for a manager is staffing, to recruit and select people who are most suitable for handling the particular assignment or the job to be allocated to each individual. The person should be dependable, they should be properly qualified, they should be having proper skills, they should be having proper attitudes, they should be having proper experience. They should be dependable means they should be having all these attributes befitting the position. They should be competent means they should be having adequate qualification, they should be having adequate experience. Honest, whenever we recruit and select a person, we ensure the honesty aspect. We see in the past what has been his track record, and we look at the integrity part and all those things. We check from the previous records. So honesty is very important, experience is important, hard working is important, flexible, positive attitude. I have seen in my 35 years of experience that you can handle anything, you can surmount any difficult situation, but if the person doesn't have a positive attitude, then you can't handle it. It becomes most difficult to handle people who are not having the right kind of attitude. Right now I have got a person, a lady who is reporting to me. I would like to share with you that I have tried all my possible methods in which I could bring her around and create a positive attitude, but I have failed. See, I have tried stick, I have tried carrot, I have tried all different aspects in whatever manner I could do it, but I have failed. And her style is, she is all the time politicking and trying to get favors from the senior management, and thereby she disables all positive efforts from her superiors. So this is what I just gave an example how important positive attitude becomes. I consider this is the most important. If you have a sincere, hardworking and a positive attitude person with you, and if he doesn't know anything about the job, you can train him up in 2 months. But if you have a wrong kind of person with a wrong attitude, then even the best person is of no use to you, because he will be continuing to politicizing against you or getting favors from the top management wherever possible, and therefore you will not be able to extract the requisite work from the person. So I consider, whenever since you are all senior people, and certainly you will be involved in staffing activity also, kindly bear it in mind that when you select a person, the person must have all these qualities and should essentially possess a very positive and good attitude. Directing. Next function is directing. I mentioned that directing also encompasses leading. Any person, any manager has to direct the efforts of all persons working with him, or in other words his team members, in order to deliver the performance expected of that particular unit or department, isn't it? Nobody can produce or perform excellently all alone without the support of the team. That is why nowadays it has been clearly understood that a manager who is to really perform should be an excellent leader. He should be able to lead his team appropriately. He should be able to extract work from the people in an optimum manner. Okay. And leading means so many things. Leading means influencing people in such a way by using the power he wields and motivate the people and achieve the organizational objectives. In doing so, he has to have number of attributes. He should be able to motivate people, he should be able to mentor the people, he should be able to develop the strategic plans, he should be able to train the people, he should be able to do n number of other activities. So leading means anything under the sun, is a part of leading. A manager has to be a strategician, a manager has to be a transactional expert, a manager has to be a transformational expert, a manager has to be a visionary if he is to be a good leader. So all these qualities, all these attributes are required for a manager to become a good leader. But where he feels is where he cannot take the people along with him in execution of the job assignment, and that is where he fails. He doesn't fail even if he is the best leader, and even if he has got all the attributes, if he has not been able to groom the people, or if he has not been able to develop a right kind of appropriate
relations with the people, and if he is not able to take them along in ensuring that the work is getting done at the optimum level, then he has failed as a leader. And I accept my defeat when I say that one of the ladies who is working with me, I have failed with her. I have tried all my gimmicks, all my 35 years of experience, and I take pride that I can manage anybody. And I have managed more than 3,000 people when I was working for Engineers India Limited. And everybody used to have great deal of respect and regard for me, and they used to listen to me. But here is one small girl whom I can't handle. So this is what happens. Sometimes you are having people who won't listen to, who get benefits from other corners, who get favors because of they can do anything and get favors. So at that stage, the only solution is to weed out such people. Once in a while you can have people like that at your hands. So only solution is to weed out, to remove them. Otherwise they will spoil the environment, work environment totally, and they will also create indiscipline in the organization, and they will also impact others in a negative way. The people who are good people who are working, they will also get distracted. So directing means a manager has to direct the efforts of all the people in his team towards the organizational objectives and get the work done and deliver the performance expected of the department. Now he can do so by using authority that is vested in his possession as a head of the department or as a leader. Certain authority has been vested, and that authority is nothing but the power that he can wield over the people. Now this, he has also been given some authority which he is going to delegate to the people down below, so that he can't handle everything himself. So he has to delegate certain authority to the people down below. So he has to appropriately delegate this authority according to the competence of each individual in the team. Then he has to coordinate the company's activities. He has to ensure that he can coordinate between different departments, he can coordinate between different levels, he can coordinate with subordinates, he can coordinate between superiors, he can coordinate between the top management, he can coordinate laterally between different departments. So coordination is a very important activity through which the job of the department, the job of the organization can be executed. Then he has to select and train the employees. Okay, he has to, as I said, select the right kind of person with the right attitude, right competence, right knowledge. Failing that, you are going to have a problem. And you have to continuously train the people that you have got. Otherwise, training and retraining is one of the most important aspect that managers should remember. Most of the good companies are spending up to 7% to 8% of their total revenues on training, if they have to really expect to remain competitive and ensure that the performance is at highest level. Then preparing organizational charts, reporting, developing reports and reporting is a very important aspect of manager. Okay, and in order to direct the job, the assignments, he has to have all the information flowing to him, and he has to have different mechanisms like the preparation of reports, charts and all that, so that he can control, he can use this information in controlling, which we are going to next. Now controlling is nothing but all the resources that are available to the manager. He uses or utilizes these resources in the most optimum manner. Now, control is the task of ensuring activities have the desired results, that each activity meets the desired results. That is the purpose of controlling. Whether you have started doing something, whether this is finally executed or not. Execution has happened in the right time, at the appropriate time, with the optimum utilization of resources, with the optimum skill of the manpower, in the desired time, and at the result of the desired level. Now, control requires targets and goals to be set. You might have heard performance appraisal system. That is a mechanism of controlling the performance. You have standards, you have set the standards, okay, and the employees have fixed the targets at the beginning of the year, and you have taken mid-course reviews, and you have continuously monitored the performance, and at the end of it you take stock of the delivery of the results. So this is what we are talking about. Controlling involves setting targets, measuring performance. You should have yardsticks to measure the performance. You must have fixed the standards, set the standards that we want this function to be delivering the result of this standard, of this level. So that is what, and taking corrective action, mid-course reviews, mid-course corrections, and then finally evaluating the performance. Controlling is one of the most difficult tasks of management. I think you will agree with me. If management has given all the resources to the manager, management has given the people, management has given the technology, management has given the time, management has given the equipment, management has given the official computer, everything, all those things which you require to perform as a manager, then why the result is not coming? Why there is a shortfall in the delivery of the results? Only because the control is not there. Sometimes the manager is not able to control the resources and ensure that all the resources deliver performance of the appropriate level. Now, there cannot be no control system without a baseline plan for doing the work. A plan has to be there in place. Okay, you would agree with me that without a plan there is no control possible. There cannot be a control system without good staffing with assigned responsibilities. People must be there available to the manager and with duly delegated responsibilities, must rely on support personnel must be there, systems must be there in place, all systems. How do you control? In order to control whatever you want to control, there has to be a system. If you want to if you want to have a attendance system, what does it control? It controls whether the person is coming for work or not, whether the person is absent or not. Similarly, performance appraisal system. This is a system which ensures that you have got a yardstick and you have got targets. You can control these, whether the person has delivered at these levels or not. Then procedures should be in place so that wherever corrective action is to be taken, this can be taken. Now, what are the control systems? Steering control. This steering control means pre-control. Okay, you have designed the systems in such a way that before any problem occurs, you get the information about that. Corrective action before problem occurs. This is preventive in nature. This is an intermediate milestone. No, you are not coming to the last stage, but before that you have developed a milestone so that immediately you get the information about something going wrong. Then there is a concurrent control, which is as you go along, as you are executing your day-to-day work, then you have control. Okay, आज का काम आज हुआ कि नहीं? Today I have assigned some work. Whether the person has delivered the work till evening or not. I have told him that I want the result today. You prepare this chart and you do all the related activities and complete it by 5 o'clock today and come back to me and report. That is a concurrent control. For this concurrent control, rules and regulations are there in the organization. That is attendance, wearing of certain dress code, okay, and execution of the work as per rules, regulations, going out, coming back, traveling going out for some work, everything, how the person is going to conduct himself in the organization, there are rules and regulations and procedures for that. Feedback control, post-action. When you have certain controls which get ensured by getting the feedback. Compare results to standard. Like say for example, some job has been executed. You don't know what is the level of execution, but you have got a standard. When you compare the execution level of that job with the standard already created by you, then you would know whether the job has been delivered of the appropriate quality and appropriate standard or not. So this is a post-action control. Okay. So these are the controls available to a manager. We can go on talking about this. There are lot more details to these, but I am just brushing up. I am just touching on that because I have to. I think not much time is left. Now I would be briefly talking about supply chain management. As the name suggests, there is a chain. When you want, certain materials or resources available to you, there it calls for certain system to ensure that which can be supply chain management can be defined as a management system that coordinates and integrates all the activities performed by supply chain members into a seamless process from the source to the point of consumption. Say for example, you want iron ores, okay, for running a blast furnace, raw material. How do you ensure? So if you have a proper appropriate supply chain management in place, then the system will take care of it. No? So let's look at this. Here you see this schematically this shows that customer or the client is at the center of it. Okay. Now procurement agencies are here. The person who is asking, the procurement department of the organization, okay, he is giving a requirement, posing the requirement to the suppliers. The suppliers are supplying, and there is a logistic department who is receiving here. Then there is a transport department or the same logistic chain. After receipt of in the godowns and all that, this is transported to the maybe the place where it is required. Then that infrastructure management, though property is written here, but it means infrastructure management. Whatever infrastructure is required, that means the godowns, the place where you want to maintain the stock, from there you take it to the place of operation and all that. Then the financial aspect, okay, that finance department, the person who is taking care of these payments and all that, and then shipping department, salvage department, all these things are you see crisscross of arrows are there. So this shows that this is a system which is independent in every way. That system takes care of itself, the entire chain of activities. Okay, so this is known as supply chain management. Now, what are the benefits of supply chain management? When you have a system like that, then you see the system takes care of itself with the minimum manpower. Maybe it is the computerized system. Everything is predefined, pre-designed. So, with the minimum manpower, you can handle all these activities because it is a part of a system. Reduced costs, improved service, because there is no shortfall. Everything is taken care by itself, automated, and optimized resources. No resources are wasted. The amount of material that you require, you are getting just in time. There are so many other strategies or linkages of the supply chain management. Those details can be read in the books, but the basically it is a component of the whole system. Now, there are 5 core principles of this. I will just read out for you. I think it is too small for you to. The connectivity, supply chain management, should be, in order to be effective, these 5 principles are to be taken care of. Connectivity, that each and every department, each and every, from source to the final end consumer, everything should be properly connected. Connectivity should be there. Collaboration should be there. That means proper collaboration between these should be there. Nobody should say that I don't want this. Okay, everybody should collaborate with each other. It is a joint effort. It cannot be the effort of one individual and the other person is not a part of it. It is an integrated activity. Then there has to be a synchronization. Everything should be in synchronized order. Okay, one activity should lead to another and like that. All activities should be interconnected with each other and integrated with each other. Then leveraging. Leveraging means when you have got certain raw material, certain resources at your command, wherever the resource is used is required at this point in time, it should be available with the minimum. It should not. There should not be, the resources need not be replicated. That means n number of resources are not required. Okay, so let's say one computer is required or one camera is required. Suppose the camera can be used here, there, everywhere. Now, whenever the camera is needed at this place, it should be available here, and at other places its requirement is not there just now. So when next at that point it is required, the camera should be taken there. So when you leverage the resources appropriately, that is known as leveraging. That means with minimum resources you can make use of the resources n number of times. Then scalability, the scale at which, the magnitude at which the resources are required, that should be there. It should not be extra availability of the resources is not required, so that there is minimum wastage. So these are the core principles of supply chain management. Now, project management process. I will just briefly touch upon this. Any project has these stages: initiating the process, planning process, executing process, monitoring and controlling, and closing process. Now, every project has a life cycle. It starts and gradually, there are intermediate phases, and then there is a final phase which is at the apex, and then there is a finish which gradually peters down. Now, what are the project management principles and practices? Define project objectives, define project execution plan, define baseline for control, from where you are going to control the project. Okay, there should be an office, there should be a baseline from where all the activities are controlled. Then you have to manage the risk. Risk management is very important in any project, and closing of the project effectively is very important. When you have executed the whole thing, but then closing, handing over, taking over, final inspection, all those things are very important. I already told you about scope, cost, schedule and quality of any project. Scoping is very important. There is a scoping document created before the project is initiated. In a schematic form, we can see like this: scope planning, that is the first stage. Then you define the scope. What is the scope of your project? Then you define the activity, and also side by side you also provide the plan, the resources, and then you, along with these two, you define the duration or estimate the duration that is going to take place. Then you, side by side, you also develop the activity sequencing. Okay, and then when you have got all these activities done, then you develop the schedule, how long it is each activity is going to take. Then you also develop the cost budget. You prepare different budgets. What is the cost of all the activities going to be there? Cost estimation is done, and then plan. You create a total plan, and side by side you also have quality planning. What kind of quality activities, quality aspects you are going to take care of? What kind of communication channels are going to be there? Risk identification, risk quantification, response development. Organizational planning, what kind of organization is going to be required for handling this project. Staff acquisition, procurement planning, what kind of material you are going to procure. For suppose you are building a refinery, then you have to procure different equipments, different materials, raw materials, everything. And final solicitation planning means everything should be coordinated properly. Okay, that means total coordination should be there in place. I don't know whether it is visible to you. Requirement analysis is the first stage. Design is the second stage. Third stage is implementation. Fourth stage is the system testing, and fifth stage is the final stage is delivery and installation. Now there is an important document which is known as project agreement, which is a understanding between the client and the project management team or group. It can be a contract. It's a written document which defines the scope, duration, cost and deliverables for the project. The exact items, quantities, delivery dates, delivery location, everything is there. Can be a contract, a statement of work, a business plan or a project chart. Client, individual or organization that specifies the requirements and accepts the project deliverables. All this documentation is required. Now, I don't know. Can you see it? I will just read out for you. Project management activities. Problem statement definition. What is this in other words is the scoping. What is the scope of the project? Initial top level design. Discussion among the top levels and all that. Initial milestone planning. Okay. What is the date of execution of different milestones? Team formation. Communication infrastructure setup. Project kickoff. Have you heard of this word? Kickoff. Any project activity, when all these things are discussed with the top management levels, among the top level managers, then between the client and the execution, the project executor, there is a meeting which is known as project kickoff. They come to understand. They have already done their homework. Now they sit across the table and final decision is taken to start the project. Now once the project kickoff is there, then we have got status monitoring. I mean, we take stock of how the progress is there. Risk management side by side. Project replanning, when you take mid-course correction, then certain activities are going okay, certain activities are not going okay, then you have to reschedule, replan the thing. Then and then finally all those things. Now here important thing are project functions, activities and tasks. Project is there, functions, how many functions are required to be executed, understanding of that. Activities, what are the activities involved? Activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And below that, tasks. Activity is a broader thing, and task, each activity may have a number of tasks to complete that activity. Okay. So these tasks, so these are clearly defined. Now here I am giving a concrete example of a building a house, let's say, which is understandable to all of you. Activity 1, landscaping the lot. That means wherever you want to, it should be plot. P missing ho gaya. Okay. Clearing and grubbing, seeding the turf, planting shrubs and trees, planting shrubs and trees. जहां आपने कुछ घर बनाना है उसके चारों तरफ आपने, यहाँ तो बिल्डिंग बनेगी, यहाँ आपके ट्रीज आएंगे. ओके, ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर डिसाइडेड. लैंडस्केप कर रहे हैं आप. देन बिल्डिंग द हाउस, साइड प्रिपरेशन, बिल्डिंग द एक्सटीरियर, फिनिशिंग द इंटीरियर. पहले तो आपने दीवारें खड़ी कर दी, ओके, स्ट्रक्चर बना दिया, एंड देन यू हैव गॉट, यू डू द finishing the interior. Okay, what kind of plastering inside, all those things. Then activity side by side, another activity is also going on. Site preparation, surveying, obtaining permits, excavating, obtaining materials. Many activities go side by side. Okay, project mein it is never one activity is completed and second starts. No, not like that. You utilize the time. Have you heard of PERT diagrams? Program Evaluation Review Technique, and CPM, Critical Path Method. These tools are available for any project management group to design these activities, to plan these activities in a sequential manner, not in a sequential manner, but number of activities can be handled parallelly. So these are the activities just defined. Now let us see it in the activity graph. I think this can't be read, no? Now here it is, I'll just read out for you. Building, this is the same building. Now here it is, the first thing is wall. Then surveying, side by side, यहाँ wall आपने खड़ी की. Building outside wall. Building जहाँ बनानी है उसके चारों तरफ wall बना दी आपने. This is the activity. Side by side आपने surveying, excavation, buy material, lay foundation, build outside wall. Again here, another wall, two different walls are there. Now then, if here you see there are two parallel activities going on. Install exterior plumbing, install exterior electrical, install exterior siding, paint exterior, install exterior doors. ये तो exterior हो गया, interior में हो गया, install interior plumbing, install interior electrical, wall board, panel, paint interior, flooring, यहाँ flooring आ गई, install roofing exterior में, and then finally. So you see these activities are parallelly going on. Another form in a PERT chart format. You see here we have got this activity, dates, everything is given. When it will start, when it will finish, everything is given. Now install interior plumbing here, first activity. Install interior electrical, install wall board, paint in interior, install flooring, install interior doors. These are activities here, and side by side parallelly you have got here surveying, excavation, buying material, laying foundation. This is a PERT chart, these dates are given. Here it is, you see 12/3/06. Here it is 11/5/06. 11/5 2 साल पहले, 1 साल पहले. This is 04 or 05. Suppose it is going to take 7-8 months. So this activity will come first. All these activities will come first because these are surveying and all that. And then these will be two activities. This is interior, this is exterior. side by side. You start here and you do all these things, getting like surveying, excavation, buying material, laying foundation, building outside wall. यहाँ तक आ गए. उसके बाद you bifurcate into this is exterior, this is interior. So this is the per chart. Now I am coming to stress management. You had told. Is there time? Is there?
Yeah, we can just stop here for a while. If you have any questions here, we welcome that. And briefly, I summarize what Professor Dupe has discussed with you. The most important aspects of a manager one has to understand is there are the processes involved to manage. That is the planning, then organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. These are the basic processes a manager has to understand. In planning, you have to take care by SWOT analysis, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities and threats. Based on this, you can plan for your organization. And in decision making process, one has to prioritize whatever are the priorities for the organization to take care. Then you have to prioritize those activities. Then you have to differentiate what is the functional activities, what is the project activity, and accordingly one has to function. Similarly, we have talked about supply chain management, the importance of supply chain management, and the activities involved in the project management, how to take care of that. So these are some of the aspects of management which was discussed in your course material, as well as quite substantially Professor Dupe has discussed with you. If you have any queries, we welcome that. Otherwise, we proceed towards the next topic, that is conflict management. Maybe we'll start, and meanwhile, if any questions come, we can answer that.
Now, most of the times managers are stressed, heavily stressed, because of they are running against time in delivering the result, in planning all these handling all these functions, organizing, planning, controlling and allocating resources, staffing, developing, managing the relationships in the organization, reporting to the top management, okay, and also managing the resources appropriately, managing the discipline, ensuring retention of employees, that good employees don't leave the organization, and n number of other activities. So managers are obviously stressed. Now what happens when we are stressed? I will just read out to you. Our senses become increasingly alert to the threat of potential danger. This is just when we get stressed, what happens? We are tense. When we get stressed, then we are tense. Okay. We find that our functioning is not very smooth. Our lips may get dry. We may get a feeling of losing our bearings at times. We are always in a hurry. We are in a state of hurry. We are not at peace with ourselves. Okay. Our blood pressure may be going up. Pulse rate may be going up, and we may be running here and there. Obviously, we are not at peace with ourselves. Lips may be getting dry. We may demand more water. Our system may get heated up. Pulse rate may increase, and we may be anticipating some threat from number of sources. Like once we find that okay, we are not able to deliver the result. आज का काम आज मैं नहीं कर पाया, and the boss is going to ask me that what is your performance for today. That I may be answerable to the top management. I know that I have not been able to execute on number of areas appropriately. So I am anticipating in my heart of heart that just now any time my boss is going to ask me. So that unnerves me, that puts me off. That is a sign of tension, and that is a sign of stress. I am under stress. So what happens? How our body reacts to this stress, our senses become increasingly alert to the threat of potential danger. We anticipate some danger. Okay, danger not to our life or not to our physical this thing, but danger, we anticipate danger that our position is going to, we are going to feel low or small in front of others. Okay, that danger, that threat. Adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones, flood our bloodstream to increase the body's metabolism and overcome the effects of fatigue. अगर हम अंडर स्ट्रेस रहेंगे तो हम टायर्ड हो जाएंगे. सो हमारा जो बॉडी का सिस्टम है, these two hormones are pumped into our bloodstream to take care of that fight against that fatigue. Okay, breathing becomes shallow. Breathing becomes shallow as it speeds up to supply increased oxygen to our muscles. Okay, heart rate and blood pressure are getting increased to rush blood to our arms and legs. Sugars and fats and cholesterol from the liver are converted into fuel for quick energy. These are medical things, so I am just bringing for you. I am also like you, have to, I know that these things happen, but in order to speak to you, I have to read from this. So how do you manage? What happens? We are stressed. Again, some more symptoms. Saliva dries up and digestion and elimination systems are stopped. Digestive system doesn't function when you are under stress. That is why आपने देखा होगा, आपने खाना खाया and suddenly आपको कोई टेंशन आ गई, immediately that food will start hurting your stomach. Indigestion हो जाएगा immediately. अगर आपने कभी नहीं देखा तो अगर आप खाना खाते ही, if you become tense because some wrong news has come or somewhere you have lost some money or something, anything like that, or wrong, any kind of wrong news, you will find that your stomach will start troubling you. It will start, stomach में pain शुरू हो जाएगा या irritation शुरू हो जाएगी, because the food that you have eaten, the digestion process has stopped. Muscles become tense, ready for action. आप देखा होगा कि tense हो जाते हैं आप, muscles tense हो जाते हैं. Perspiration cools the body, suddenly you start perspiring. Blood clotting mechanisms are activated to protect us from blood loss in case of injury. Immune system's efficiency is suppressed. The sleep process is blocked. नींद नहीं आएगी. जब आप टेंस हो जाएंगे, रात को कभी आप टेंस हो तो आपको नींद डिले हो जाएगी. Too much stress can be distressing, harming. The line between eustress, there are two types of stress. Eustress, that helps you, that is a positive stress, and distress, that wears you out. दोनों में आपको पता नहीं चलता. Sometimes both are stresses, but eustress is good for you and distress is bad for you. Now stress levels could be different for different people. Some people may be stressed for whole 24 hours and still may not feel anything. Some people may get stressed a little bit and start feeling it. Now how do you manage the stress? Stress management is not any external process. Stress management is your internal process. It is a decision making process. You have to decide how do you handle it. Okay, there is no medicine for it. You have to decide. आपको decide करना है कि I am getting stressed, I have to get out of it. In order to be a normal, healthy, functional person, what are the strategies? There are three major ways we can deal with it. There are 3 A's, 1 B and 1 C. One A is alter it. Alter it मतलब सिचुएशन को चेंज कर दीजिए जिससे आपको स्ट्रेस हो रहा है. अवॉइड इट. आइदर मूव आउट फ्रॉम द प्लेस, अवॉइड कर जाओ. स्ट्रेस होने वाला, आप कहीं और चले जाओ. ओके, स्टॉप थिंकिंग अबाउट इट. एक्सेप्ट इट. थर्ड इज एक्सेप्ट इट एंड डील विद इट अप्रोप्रिएटली. B is building our resistance. B is nothing but develop a resistance. Develop एक आप अपना mechanism तैयार करिए कि stress होगा तो I have to deal with it in this manner. Changing our perception. C is changing our perception. We know that stress तो होता ही रहेगा. Every day कुछ न कुछ stress होगा. तो let us take it very lightly. Let us not take it very seriously. Okay? Stress तो boss ने बोला इधर से ना निकाल दो. That doesn't mean that you don't take it seriously in your job with regard to your job, but don't let it create some tension in your body. Okay. Alter. What do you mean? Alter. Removing the source of stress by changing something. ठीक है. जहाँ से source से आना है, उसको आप somehow you change it. Don't go near your boss. You know that boss ने आपको आज डांट लगानी है. तो somehow you avoid it. Change करो. कुछ करके you develop your strategy. How do you? Everybody's situation is different. आप भाग तो सकते नहीं वहां से. कुछ और करो. Whatever you can think of. Avoid. Like what are the possible things? Problem solving. Solve the problem. Direct communication. Go and talk to the boss. Sir, this has happened. Before you say anything, I am coming and reporting the matter to you. Organize करो अपने आप को better so that it doesn't happen. Plan करो. Manage your time well. These are the common techniques for altering stress. Avoid removing oneself from the stressful situation. Avoid करने का मतलब बॉस के सामने ही मत जाओ. ठीक है. Third, to conserve stress energy, people sometimes need to walk away, let go, say no, delegate, withdraw or know their limits. All these things are possible. बॉस ने बोला आपने गलत किया, आप बोलो नहीं सब गलत नहीं है, मैंने ठीक किया. Under these circumstances, this is the only possible thing. I have done my best. Withdraw हो जाओ, get out of that system, go out for a while, and all those things. Accept. Accept means equipping oneself physically and mentally for stress. Equip करो अपने आप को. Okay, you know that stress is going to happen. So you find ways in which you are going to react to it. Okay, but don't let it affect you individually, adversely. Building resistance. Physically, proper diet, regular exercise and systematic relaxation techniques. Mentally, positive affirmation, taking time for mental health and getting clear about goals, values, priorities. Socially, by building and maintaining support systems. Somebody should be there, your friends, your circle people, that you discuss with them and...
Mentally very good.
Okay. Should I close?
No, continue.
Then spiritually, meditation. Some people do meditate, they do meditation in the morning, they find that nothing troubles them. Stress to hona hi hai, so they meditate. Change the way you perceive the situation or yourself, changing unrealistic expectations and irrational belief. Okay? You don't think that you are so ambitious that you want to become the MD. Okay? Don't start thinking like that. Be in your shoes. अपनी चादर तक रहो. Some people are so ambitious, वो बोलते हैं कि हमको चेयरमैन ही बनना है या हम HOD ही बन जाएंगे. तो they are inviting trouble. They are inviting lot of stress unnecessarily, because nothing is going to happen overnight. Building self-esteem and cultivating a positive attitude. Positive attitude रखिए कि I am doing my best. Under the circumstances, nobody could have done better. ये तो होना ही है. So let it come the way it is coming. I am going to take it head on. I am not going to get bothered about it. And all these things. Now there is one very good mechanism, laughter. When you are under stress, laugh. जितना आप हंसेंगे, वो stress खत्म हो जाएगा. Gives your heart and lungs a workout. जब आप हंसते हैं, तो आपके heart को exercise होती है. Helps you relax, boosts the immune system, reduces pain, improves your mood, gives a feeling of control, makes us more creative, fights depression, reduces anger, helps with chronic breathing problems. All these things are possible with laughter. Don't be so serious. Play with the kids. Look at the big picture. क्या हो जाएगा? What worst can happen? One of my good friends, he says, see, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I never bother. क्या होगा? What is going to happen? Nobody is going to kill me. Nobody is going to remove me from my job. ये तो डेली होना है कुछ ना कुछ. So you make a system in which you can be very practical. When the boss says something, when you find some yourself against some difficult situation, be confident that you will handle it. That's all. That is the simplest way. Hang out with the people you laugh with, have a positive outlook, make time for laughter. Now, it is very important to know that what happens with sleep deprivation. Some people don't sleep properly because they are tense. Problem solving skills are impaired. आपकी जो problem अपना system है, the way you fight with the problem and sort out the problems, this system, these skills, everybody has his own way of handling problems. These are impaired. After remaining under tension for quite long, you will see that you will not be able to solve problems. Your own problems will engulf you. Communication skills suffer. You can't speak properly. Learning and memory suffer. Memory बहुत weak हो जाती है. Motor skills are impaired. Motor skills means, suppose you are driving a car, your reactionary system slows down. So relaxation activities, how can you relax? Keep a journal, diary or dream notebook. Play with children or animals. Spend leisure time in the park. Listen to quiet music. Quiet मतलब बहुत हल्ला करता हो म्यूजिक, धीरे धीरे हल्का हल्का. Practical yoga. Enjoy a snow or water sport. Ride a bicycle for pleasure. You see, gone are the times when all of us used to have a bicycle. Bicycle is an excellent exercise. Now we don't have time to go for swimming. We don't have time to go for jogging, many of us. Or we don't have time to sit with the friends and laugh. But cycle, अगर है आपके पास 5 मिनट की cycling is a very good exercise for removing tension. Run, jog or take long walk. Eat only natural, healthy food. Food is very important. Food is again, intake of food is in our own hand. Don't, cram yourself with, ready-made, off-the-shelf kind of food. Fast food and all that. You eat a very natural, healthy food. We hear all these things every day, but still, our lifestyle has become like this, that we are mostly not doing this kind of things. Enjoy some kind of sport. Get or give a massage. Practice gymnastics or dancing. Dancing, some people who can do, dancing is also another very good exercise. Use a hot tub, steam room or sauna. आपके पास अगर बाथ टब है तो उसमें हॉट बाथ लीजिए, बहुत अच्छा है. वर्क इन द यार्ड और गार्डन में थोड़ा काम करिए, बहुत अच्छा है. एंजॉय ए क्राफ्ट और हॉबी. रीड फॉर प्लेजर, कोई छोटा सा नॉवल रखिए या स्टोरी पढ़िए. स्पेंड टाइम इन वुड्स, माउंटेन्स, डेजर्ट और बीच. दीज आर वेरी गुड. टेक ए नैप. मेडिटेट. गो हाइकिंग और कैंपिंग. Attend theatre. Some companies have the hiking and camping. They invariably make it a routine that after a few months they will send people, employees for all this. Attend theatre, concerts or shows. Movie देखिए, theatre में जाइए. Play a musical instrument or sing. थोड़ा bathroom singing कर लीजिए. That also helps. Practice martial arts. अगर आप कुछ exercise कर सकते हैं, breathing exercise or anything your favorite. So these are broadly. Eat wisely, consult your physician, psychologist for professional advice, exercise regularly, take time to rest, relax, set goals in your life, adapt to change, communicate your feelings, think positively. Now we come to total quality management. Should I continue? Or?
Yeah, you can just finish. If you have any queries, you can raise them.
Quality of a product or service is its ability to satisfy the needs and the expectations of the consumer or the customer. Quality is always linked to the customer or the client and user. He has to decide whether the quality is good or not good. मैं अपनी चीज को जितना मर्जी बोला मेरी my thing is of excellent quality. It doesn't make any sense. The quality has to be decided whether it is the right quality or not by the end user. Commitment to quality throughout the organization. Total quality management, what is it? Commitment to quality throughout the organization. Principles of customer oriented. It has to be customer oriented. Leadership is an important aspect of total quality. Good leaders are required to ensure quality. Strategic planning is important for good quality. Employee responsibility has to be clearly defined, and employees have to assume responsibility. They have to take responsibility. Each employee has to assume or take responsibility. खाली leader की responsibility से नहीं होगा. Good leadership is important, but employee responsibility is equally important. Continuous improvement. Quality means it is not that आज एक quality हमारी होगी तो इस level तक हम आ गए तो quality means continuous improvement, because your competitors are continuously improving. So if you don't improve yourself, then your quality doesn't make any sense, because your quality is going to be relative. Cooperation, total cooperation between all the departments, all the people in the organization. Statistical methods को use. Statistical method means you should have some reporting mechanism, appropriate reporting mechanism, so that nothing is lost sight of. Okay, so that is what. Training and education, regular routine training and retraining and education about the latest in the market is important. So these are the principles of TQM. Now what is TQM?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Delhi. Please come online.
Yes, Delhi. Please come online. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I am J.K. Garg from RC1.
Okay.
You have explained regarding the project management,
Yeah.
house building management, supply chain management, but your lecture is silent on explaining the source available.
Course available, is it?
Source.
Whereas everything is centered on the subject. Kindly educate us.
I am not able to get your point.
He's asking about the project management is source available.
Source,
So,
that
source.
means books.
Hmm.
I can give a list of books.
Is money, source is material. Source is man, source is leadership.
Actually, I think he's asking about the resources, how to manage resources,
So you-
whether it is money, man, material or something.
Leadership, yes.
I was just listening to the question.
What I can do is,
Sir, I am waiting for your answer.
Can you repeat your question again, please? We were unable to understand.
Can you repeat your question again, please? We were unable to understand. Before starting any management, the availability of to know the source availability is a very important issue.
Okay.
are you meaning the course material?
Very silent on this
No,
subject.
no. For project management,
It is the
its source
fund,
is always
it is the
is
man,
essential component.
It is the material.
Yeah, I got your point.
Yeah.
The list of vendors and all that you are meaning.
Thank you.
Are you meaning the list of vendors and all that?
Starting from the fund. No, starting from the fund.
Starting from the fund, okay. See, the idea is that I have not gone into all aspects of project management. I have just basically explained the project management steps involved and all that. But you are right, all the resources, procurement of the resources, list of vendors, the capital, sources from where you are going to get the capital, sources from where you are going to get the equipment. Everything needs to be taken into account. Thanks for your input.
Yeah, please, Dehradun, come online, please.
Yeah, this is Asha Sharma calling from Regional Center, Dehradun. Firstly, I have to convey something that is, yesterday it was bad weather out here, so there was no signal for more than 45 minutes. So the session after 6:40 could not be continued. So there was about 12 participants, and they all wanted to view the CD of yesterday's evening program.
Okay.
Secondly, obviously it demotivated them to some extent, and today less number of participants are there.
Okay.
So there are only about 6 participants today, and I would request that the CD for today's program may also kindly be sent.
Okay.
And now there is a question from one of the participants, whom I am giving the telephone.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Myself Anil Kumar from Dehradun. I wanted to know that stress management is a very important part of management. So is there any CD or a very good book regarding stress management which we can refer to go in detail for this sort of management?
Actually, you see, there are number of books available. I can give the list of the books, but ideally, I have found that stress management, its hand-on is more important. When you go through certain exercises and somebody comes and shows you how to do certain exercises, then that becomes more useful. So normally a 2-day program or at least a 1-day program is conducted for you giving certain inputs, showing certain exercises, giving certain hands-on kind of inputs. That helps in a big way. So I can give a list of books and material to Dr. Srilata.
Okay.
Should I continue?
Yeah.
So here, what is TQM? In this diagram, in this flow chart, you can see this. Number 1 is, first step is constant drive. First we come to constant drive for continuous improvement and learning. This is the first aspect that you must understand. Then management by factual, management of factual, aspects. Then third is total employee involvement in development. Then organization response ability of the organization to respond appropriately. Partnership perspective, internal and external. One has to be very careful, one has to be aware of internal requirement and external requirement. One has to be very, the organization has to be aware of total process management. Implementation of all the aspects is important. Result focus is important. This is what it implies here by this diagram is that when we are talking of total quality management, that it pertains to the whole organization as a whole, and all the employees have to be totally involved in. The processes should be very clearly defined. Manuals should be available where each and every activities are clearly defined, and implementation manuals should be there. What activities are to be performed, what is the duration of each activities, what is the level of each activities, what are the equipments involved. Everything has to be all complete, written down things should be available. Processes should be clearly defined, and then employees should be totally involved, not only one department but all departments should be clearly, because the process from beginning to end, everything has to be clearly defined, all activities, and everybody handling those activities should be clearly understanding the activities and clearly trained on all those handling activities, and time frame should be clearly defined. So when you have all these things, then only the total quality management can be there in the organization.
Thank you. The session ends here. If you have any queries, kindly mail it to me, srilata@ignou.ac.in, or send it by fax. Thank you.